Hi, these comments are for MS, and this is Michael from bettertoeflscores.com. I'm looking at the email that you sent me, and I'm getting ready to grade one of your integrated speaking practice tests. And you subscribe to my service over at my TOEFL Speaking and Writing Feedback service at bettertoeflscores.com. So you say, I noticed I'm having a little bit of difficulty being concise while not missing out on integrating important information from both sources. Okay, so the key is to identify the most important information and then try to get out or sort out that minor detail information. You say in doing that while pronouncing all the syllables and stressing on the needed words or verbs and using synonyms all at the same time while remaining within the allotted 60 seconds given. So please advise me what to do regarding this matter. Sounds like you need some strategies. And it's tough. So part of what you're developing as you do your speaking practice is called automaticity of language use, where your pronunciation, your vocabulary, your grammar, it becomes natural, just like driving a car after a few years. That's what you're trying to do, is to get that automaticity of language use. Now, the question is, how can you improve and do better integrating the most important information from either the reading and the listening passage and get everything done within that 60-second time constraint, right? So I put this information into ChatGPT, and I'm going to go over some points and expand on a few ideas. I'll correct anything that's not right. Okay, so you're actually noticing the right problems. That's a good sign. So part of developing English proficiency, it's called self-assessment. You're becoming aware of the challenges that you face as a speaker of academic English, right? So you're trying to do too many things at once. So include every detail from reading plus listening, use perfect pronunciation and stress, use synonyms, standard 60 seconds. So that is overwhelming. So you need to simplify and prioritize. So certain information is more important than other information. So let's break this into three parts. So what information you really need, how to structure your answer so it fits in 60 seconds, how to manage pronunciation, stress, and synonyms without panicking. Remember that the more you practice, the better you get with these things. So number one, what information do you actually need? So you do not need every detail from the reading and the lecture. The TOEFL raters want to hear that you understand the main idea, you understand the main idea from the lecture and the reading, you can connect them clearly. So does the lecture support, does it oppose, does it further explain something that's mentioned in the passage? So think of your response as a summary with a purpose, not a complete report. So for most integrated tasks, this is enough. So you have one sentence is the main idea of the reading. You have another sentence, main idea of the lecture. Then 2 to 3 sentences are 1 to 2 key examples from the lecture and typically how they relate to the reading. So anything more is usually too much if you're wanting to fit that into 60 seconds. So the question is, if a detail does not help explain the relationship between the reading and the lecture, it's safe to leave it out. Number 2, here's a simple 60-second structure you can reuse. Try this 6 to 7 sentence framework. It keeps you concise but complete. Sentence 1, reading main idea. The reading explains that concept is, and then the definition. Sentence 2, lecture purpose. In the lecture, the professor supports, opposes, give examples of this idea. Sentence 3 and 4, first example plus connection. First, he mentions that, then include a key example from lecture. This example shows, supports, contradicts the reading because, and then a clear link to definition. Sentence 5 and 6, you have your second example plus connection, optional if time. So you say second, he explains that, you have the second example. This also relates to the reading sense, and then show the clear link. Then you have a final sentence wrap up. So the lecture supports challenges of reading by giving. Then you include a summary of how the examples relate to the concept. So if you follow this sort of template, you'll be focused. You integrate both sources. You allow extra time wasting. No, you're avoiding extra time wasting details. Now, how to balance pronunciation stress and synonyms without melting down, if you will. So you mentioned pronounce every syllable, stress keywords, use synonyms, stay under 60 seconds. So let's kind of simplify this a bit. A, prioritize clear structure and calm speed over fancy synonyms. So the good news is you don't need to use a lot of synonyms to get a high score. It's okay to repeat key academic words from the reading and the lecture. For example, convergent evolution, adaptation, policy, and campus. There's really not a lot of synonyms for these words anyway. Use synonyms only when they're easy and automatic for you. So we're going back to that automaticity of language use. And this is probably going to help you. So you're not trying to search to find synonyms for really specific words from either the lecture or the reading. But how about this? Positive effect, you could say benefit. Bad effect, disadvantage, or drawback. Students, undergraduates. Only if you're comfortable using it. So if using a synonym makes you hesitate or mispronounce, don't use it. Clarity is more important. Okay, B. This can help you with your speaking rate. Use thought groups to control speed and stress the right words. Instead of thinking I must stress every important word, think in short chunks of speech called thought groups. Example sentence. So let's see how we would read this. So first, the reading defines convergent evolution as unrelated species developing similar traits because they face similar environments. So you have speak in three groups. First, the reading defines convergent evolution. 2, as unrelated species developing similar traits. 3, because they face similar environments. So you can pause briefly between groups, and you want to make sure at the end of that pause, your tone should go up slightly. Then when you get to the end of the sentence, your tone falls. So within each group, stress just 1 to 2 important words, not all of them. So defines convergent evolution, similar traits, similar environments. Sometimes we stress what we call key words because it's new information that maybe your audience doesn't know, and you want to make sure they're paying attention to that. So this is going to make your speech sound clear, organized, and less rushed. And it actually makes pronunciation easier, not harder. So aim for a shorter script. So if you feel like you're just too rushed, maybe try to get it down to 80 to 95 words. Most students try to fit between 120 140 words into 60 seconds. And if they're not comfortable with their delivery, it's going to feel really rushed. So try this practice rule. Write a response for about 90 words and make sure you're including the most important information from the reading and the lecture. Read it at a natural pace, no rushing, time yourself. So if 90 words fits into the 45 to 50 second time slot, that gives you a small safety buffer for nerves and small hesitations. So here's a practice routine you can follow right now, kind of 3 steps. Step 1, note taking during the reading and the lecture. Write only key words, not full sentences. You have the reading, concept, short definition, lecture, 2 examples, how each relates to concept. Then you have your example notes. For example, definition, convergent evolution, unrelated species, similar traits, same environment. Example 1, bats, then dolphins, equals echolocation, dark environments, and then example 2, cactus, desert plants, thick stems, water storage or something. So step 2 is you have 10-second planning. So using your notes, mentally plug into this frame. Reading idea, 1 sentence. Lecture idea, 1 sentence. Example 1 plus connection, that gives you 2 sentences. Example 2 plus connection, if you have time, that gives you 2 sentences. Then you have a conclusion, which is 1 sentence. So step 3, record twice. Your first recording, focus on content and structure. Don't worry about pronunciation too much. Second recording, keep the same ideas, but now focus on slower speed, clear thought groups, stressing 1 to 2 keywords in each group. So over time, your brain will automate the structure. So you'll have more mental space for pronunciation and stress. So here's your final mindset advice here. You're trying to be perfectly complete, perfectly accurate, perfectly pronounced, perfectly paraphrased, all in 60 seconds. That's impossible even for native speakers. Instead, aim for this. Content, clear main idea plus 1 to 2 strong examples. Integration, always explain how the example relates to the reading. And then 3, delivery, slightly slower than you think you need with short pauses. Language, mostly simple, accurate words, a few easy synonyms. If you do those 4 things, you're already working at a 24 to 26 level. And with practice, you can push into the 27 to 30 range there. All right, let's listen to your most recent practice tests, and I'm keeping everything that you said in the email in my mind and all the feedback I've given you so far. So let's see how you're doing with this one. So you're doing, it looks like an integrated speaking task. You spoke for 62 seconds.
Poet called ballad. The reading passage discusses a type of poet called ballad, and the speaker in the lecture gives an example to illustrate the idea. First of all, ballad, according to the author, is described as a poem that tells a story that is sung to music. In addition, these words change as they pass down the road from one singer to the other. On top of that, it's an ongoing custom that's still going. Moreover, the professor in the lecture states that there are many origins found in many countries for these ballads, including 100 versions in the USA alone. He then proceeds by giving an example that demonstrates why Barbara Allen poet can be classified as a ballad. In the poem, she had a lover, she didn't love him back, he died of unrequited love, the following day she died of regret. After they were buried, the plants from their grave intertwined, showing how they became lovers after death, even though they weren't during their lifetimes. And then the music continues. To sum up, the professor shows through this example how Barbara Allen poet can be classified as a ballad.
So I think at the very end, Barbara Allen's poet can be, I say Barbara Allen's poem can be classified as a ballad. So I think you're having some trouble differentiating between the noun thing and the noun person. So poem is a noun thing, and then poet is a noun person. So that's a language use issue. So be careful about the words. We have things like biology, biologist, anthropology, anthropologist, and so on. And we do distinguish between noun people and then noun things. Okay, let's listen one more time. I'm thinking you might not quite get 26 on this. You had a few language use issues in there, some minor delivery issues. Let's go again one more time.
The reading passage discusses a type of poet called ballad, and the speaker in the lecture.
It discusses a type of.
The reading passage discusses a type of poet called ballad, and the.
A type of poem called ballads. So I would use the word poem there, not poet. Poet's the person who writes the ballad. You see what I'm saying?
Speaker in the lecture gives an example to illustrate the idea.
Okay, so now we know what the connection is between the reading and the listening passage, because you just made that in that compound sentence stating both main points.
First of all, ballad, according to the author, is described as a poem that tells a story that is sung to music.
I think that's pretty accurate.
According to the author, is described as a poem that tells a story that is sung to music. In addition, these words change as they pass down the road from one singer to the other. On top of that, it's an ongoing custom.
Yeah, instead of on top of that, I think that's a little too informal for this type of what I call academic speaking. I'd probably use a word like additionally, moreover, furthermore. So don't make that your go-to transition word. It's a little bit too basic of a transition word for this level of language.
That's still going. Moreover, the professor in the lecture states that there are many origins found in many countries for these ballads, including 100 versions in the USA alone. He then proceeds by giving an example that demonstrates why Barbara Allen poet can be classified as a ballad.
Why Barbara Allen's, let's go back.
Example that demonstrates why Barbara Allen poet can be classified as a
Barbara Allen's poem. Sounds like you're saying poet there. So Barbara Allen's poem can be classified as a ballad. So be careful of your pronunciation and your word
ballad.
choice.
In the poem, she had a lover, she didn't love him back, he died of.
So you're having some problems re-explaining that information there. So those are some language use issues. So when I look under language use, I'm seeing more some imprecise or inaccurate use of vocabulary grammar structures, or be somewhat limited. So it looks like you're probably between 3 and 3.5 in the language use, and maybe delivery, you're probably about the same. I think your organization is a little bit higher than that. But I think by scoring a little lower in those two categories, that's probably going to bring your score down to below 26.
Unrequited love. The following day, she died of regret. After they were buried, the plants from their grave intertwined, showing how they became lovers after death, even though they weren't during their lifetimes. And then the music continue. To sum up, the professor shows through this example how Barbara Allen poet can be classified as a ballad.
It shows how Barbara Allen's poem can be classified as a ballad. So that, I think you made the integration in there, but you had some word choice issues and some delivery problems. So that's why I'm going to put you at 23 to 25 points on this one because of those minor issues with both delivery and language use.